Okay, hello everybody again. Welcome back. This is Mr. Weston. Now I'm going to be looking at simplifying 5 for our next lesson, which is going to be on Tuesday the 31st of March, last day of the month. Okay, me and my little juggling friend here. So, simplifying 5. Why are we doing this rather than expansion? We're moving back to it. Well, the idea is expansion is all about multiplying out brackets. But of course, linked to multiplication, of course, I've told you before, is division. And what we're going to do for a start is look at simplifying some algebraic expressions that involve a division. So you'll see all of these are written as fractions. Something on the top, something on the bottom. And we've spoken in the past about cancelling down. What you do to the top, use the bottom. So if you divide the top by 2, you divide the bottom by 2 and so on, okay? You can times or divide any fraction by the same number, top and bottom. That's okay. And you'll get an equivalent fraction. That's how we simplify things. So if we take a look at this first one, we've got 5a all over 5 is how I would say it, 5a over 5, or what it basically means is 5a divided by 5. So if we look, we've got a combination of numbers, just normal box standard numbers, and letters. So there's only a letter on the top, there isn't a letter on the bottom, there's certainly nothing for it to pair up with. So in this case, we'll just forget about the letters for a second and we'll just focus on the numbers. So 5 divided by 5, I'm thinking, okay, 5 divided by 5 works, that's just 1. And so essentially what we're doing there is cancelling down. Now, I would never normally write this, but the idea is you're ending with 1 divided by 1, if we divide top and bottom by 5, and of course you're left with the a. There wasn't any letter on the bottom, so 1a, which is just a, and then anything divided by 1 stays the same. So of course we wouldn't write that normally. The answer would just be a in that case. So this next one here, very similar. Okay, I'll just move you to the other side. 8a divided by a, very similar. In terms of the opposite here, we've got 2 letters. We've only got one number, top and bottom. So the 8, nothing on the bottom. Or we've got an invisible 1 now, I suppose, but there's no point dividing by that. But we've got an a. So in this case, what we'll do is divide top and bottom by a. So what happens then? When we divide top and bottom by a, 8a divided by a will just give me 8. And of course, a divided by a will give me 1. Now, again, you wouldn't normally write this. So just put that there. 8 divided by 1, or any number divided by 1, leaves you with 8. So what we can see here is on the first one, basically, we're dividing by 5, top and bottom. On this one, we're dividing by a, top and bottom. I'm not normally a big fan of writing this idea, but we can see that's what's happening there in order for us to simplify it. So here, 12a divided by 3. I suppose it depends how you think of it. If we think of a fraction, okay, again, we've got letter top and no letter on the bottom, but we have got numbers top and bottom, non-1 numbers, 12 and 3. So in this case, 12 and 3, what times table are they both in? Common factor, or highest common factor is 3. So what we could say here is, or divide by 3, top and bottom. This is the last time I'm going to write this. 12 divided by 3 will give me 4. Of course, the a doesn't do anything and go anywhere, it's still just a. And 3 divided by 3 will give you 1. But, basically, as we're moving away from that, what I'll be saying is, listen, just divide by 3 top and bottom, and that cancels it all out. And so in this case, we just end up with 4a. And that will bring me on to the next bit, because when I talk about these, I always talk about cancelling. So this one, 18 and 6, what I'm seeing here is, basically, they're both in the 6 times table. So I can take out or cancel a 6 from there, okay? A and A, obviously weird to say both in the A times table, but the idea is we can certainly divide by A, top and bottom. So technically, the highest common factor top and bottom is 6a. So what we would do is divide by 6a top and bottom, and that would leave you with 3 on the top and just 1 on the bottom, or 3 as your answer. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. Okay, moving on, 9ab over 3a. Obviously, they're getting a little bit trickier, right? Again, in my head, I'm thinking numbers first, then deal with the letters. So here, 9 and 3. Basically, I can cancel out a 3. So what you'll often see me do is actually cross out like this. So that's my laptop bleeping in the background, Mr. Chamberlain. So if I just divide by 3 on the bottom, okay, just goes to 1, or the invisible 1. But divide by 3 on the top, I'm left with 3. A, top and bottom, so I can divide by 8 on the top and divide by a on the bottom, and this disappears. So you can see now I'm just left with a 3b on the top. The number on the bottom, the invisible number, the 1, I don't need to bother with it. 3b divided by 1, it doesn't matter, it's not going to do anything. So in this case, 5a over 2a, what I'd see again was, okay, start with the numbers, 5 and 2. Highest common factor, 5 and 2. Oh, there isn't 1. Yeah, 1 is basically the highest common factor. So I can't divide by anything, so I've got to leave them alone. A and A, well, they're the same. So I can divide by A on the top, cancel it out, divide by A on the bottom. So the answer here would be, just leave the 5 over 2. And in this case, I certainly wouldn't want it as a decimal, okay? I certainly wouldn't want it as 2.5 either, okay? But the idea is leave it as an improper fraction. Yeah, fine. It was given in that sort of form. It makes sense to leave it like that. All right, the next one, a squared over a. And again, I'm thinking, okay, no numbers, or the invisible 1, top and bottom. So what I'll do is just deal with the a's. They've got something in common. A goes into both of them. So if I divide by a on the top, basically a squared divided by a just leaves me with a. So I can just cross out that little 2 there. And I'll cross out the a on the bottom, and that will just leave me with an a on the top. A over 1, yes, but just a. Okay, so essentially just divide by a top and bottom. This time, similar, so we've got a cubed divided by a, common factor is a, so we'll divide by a top and bottom, so divide by a, cancel it on the bottom. A cubed divided by a, think about it, what are you going to have? Remember what a cubed is, a times a times a, so we're cancelling one of those a's, that will leave us with 2 of them. So if I just do that, we're going to be left with just a squared on its own. They're okay when your higher power's on the top of the fraction, people get a bit more perturbed when it's on the bottom, but we'll deal with those another day. Okay, 6a squared over 2a. So again, deal with the numbers first. 6 and 2. Let me think. Highest common factor, 2. So divide by 2 top and bottom. Cancel. 6 divided by 2 leaves me with 3. A squared divided by a. We've already had that one. So cancel a top and bottom. Cross that little 2 there. And that leaves me with 3a. And that's it. Okay, 3a over 1, but just 3a. In this case, we've got 12a cubed over 4a squared. We'll deal with numbers first. 12 divided by 4. That will leave me with, highest common factor 4. So divide by 4, top and bottom. That leaves me 3 on the top. A cubed and a squared. So we're going to divide by a squared, top and bottom, which I can. So it's a squared divided by a squared, just give me 1. A cubed divided by a squared will just leave me with a. And so again, same answer as previously, 3a. Okay, so they're pretty tricky. You can see how they're getting harder, and they do get trickier depending on where you're cancelling the things, where it's leaving stuff on the top or bottom, but that's for another day. Have a look at the your turn questions, okay? Hopefully they're not too bad following this, and I will catch up with you tomorrow. Okay, take care, guys. Look after yourselves. Bye-bye.